Well, fine. Good evening, all. This is Patricia, and I'm traveling for history. I'm inside the horse carriage barn here at the Shelburne Museum. It does say clearly the original paint, metal, and textiles of these vehicles are very fragile. Please do not touch the carriages, and they have it en français as well. I already know enough not to touch something in the museum. I hope you do too. I'm sure you do. This is a carriole built by George Miller of Shelburne, Vermont, 1886 rather. You can feel free to read that at your convenience. This is a child's cutter. We can read that together. This is a country cutter. Isn't that lovely? Yet another cutter. Look at that pretty blanket on there. That'll keep you nice and warm since I guess it's always air conditioned. Massachusetts, 1830. This is an Albany sleigh, attributed to James Gould, Albany, New York, owned by L. Marler, Brooklyn, Connecticut, 1860. Isn't that fancy? Wow. Another cutter, W.W. Bean of Randolph, Vermont. Jack Traverse, the painter, stands on the steps of the Bean wood shop. Sleigh undercarriages sit on the porch, 1905. Interesting. Another great blanket on there. Wow, look at this. Reminds me of one of those ancient Egyptian pharaoh boats, doesn't it? This is a country sleigh. Unknown maker, 1850. It says here in the 19th century, paint was expensive and consequently used sparingly. Richly decorated surfaces, however, were common on sleighs because snow was less abrasive on the painted surfaces than the mud and dirt generated during the spring, summer, and fall on dirt roads. The delicate banded decorative leaves along the tops of the body complement the tub shape so characteristic of country sleighs. Typically, this type of sleigh would have had an elevated driver's seat in the middle and passengers would sit in the rear. Interesting. This is a new acquisition. A horse hitching post. Gosh, I remember when these were still on the streets. And no, of course I wasn't born that early. But certainly in Burlington, along South Union Street. They're gone now. They've been gone for decades. I think that is spectacular. Let's look at the other side. It's late 19th century and made of cast iron. Isn't that extraordinary? Of course, it's a hitching post, so you hitch the rope to this, kind of like what you do with a boat when you're mooring it. You attach it to something to make sure the horse is not going to go anywhere. And here we have a horse. A horse, of course. Here we have some clothing. That's actually all behind glass, in case it's not obvious, with all sorts of cups, bridles. We have coach horns, holders, the Webb family crest. And then clothing so you can actually sit in a sleigh and not freeze body parts off. I mean, that really looks further your legs. That there, and that big fur coat. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. So let me just read this to you. Sleighing, cold comfort, cold noses, cold feet, and fun. Coats made of buffalo fur, sleigh robes of bear and buffalo fur lined with wool, imitation fur robes, fur over slippers, foot warmers with fuel fur hats and mittens, all were products of an industry spawned by the popularity of sleighing. Even the fur-trimmed hames and halters for the horses were a part of outfitting for the winter driving season. Some examples of hames are mounted on the back wall of this case. Oh, I'm guessing that maybe it's not bridle then. I guess it's a hame. These here is what I'm thinking there. I have to look that up. I've never seen that word before. Seward Webb enjoyed the special pleasures of a winter visit to the Shelburne house when her husband and she brought their baby daughter, Electra, back to Vermont from Chicago for Christmas. She wrote this remembrance in 1952, quote, "What a thrill for me when we got off the train and I saw the big, yellow, closed-in sleigh with Harry Watson sitting on top with only a little part of his face showing under the buffalo cap. He wore a big buffalo cape and the buffalo lap robe over his knees. This same sleigh will be in the museum and the buffalo liveries, all things of the past. The sleigh she's referring to is the yellow stage sleigh in the Horseshoe Barn Annex. That winter, circa 1910, we drove, my husband and I, in many of the different sleighs. There were no motors in those days, and as I look back, I am happy that there were none," unquote. More sleighs over here.
Lots of people. Yep. Working in this part. I love these traveling coats they have out. It's great.
Gotta dress the part.
Yep.
I was thinking that seemed kind of comfortable to sit, but if you're trying to handle horses, I can see why you would want to have that type of seat. Huh. Country sleigh, maker unknown, Westbury, New York, 1820. Isn't that amazing? It just reminds me of a boat. Oh, I do apologize for the shadow. The light is behind it. I have no control over that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I know I keep saying that, but it is beautiful. I have to turn off the light to read the sign because otherwise there's a glare. Look at this. How fancy is that? All that pressed. Oh, and look at that. Ooh, me likey. I know the maturity level is low, but that's all right. I don't mind. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Ooh. And then we see this, it looks like pressed steel, leather. Oh, maybe that's leather. Oh, that may be leather. Wow. And of course, the coachman would be up here. This is Victoria Sleigh, built by Brewster and Company in New York City about 1890. Wow, look at that thing. Very fancy. Rungs, sleigh rungs. This is a Buffalo speeding cutter. very impressive, isn't it? We got to back up pretty far for this. Made by W.G. Hamill of St. Catherine, Ontario, Canada. Patented June 27, 1893. I'll just read this to you. I think it's pretty interesting. This sleigh was made for the famous pacer Joe Patchen, a horse that the racing public idolized in the 1880s and 1890s. Joe Patchen had defeated the, quote, crack pacers of his day, unquote. His record time was 2.01 minutes on the mile track at Terre Haute, Indiana, September 28, 1897. Winter harness racing, while dangerous with slick surfaces, was extremely popular. Designed for speed, the body of the sleigh is made with thin, lightweight wood and built only for a driver. The design of the undercarriage achieves maximum strength and stability with minimal weight. Wow. Wow. Isn't that something else? Wow. Ooh, that looks fancy. I would think that's probably for the coachman rather than for the feet. This is a basket sleigh. And it certainly looks like one. There we go. This is a Maker's Unknown, 1880. Ooh, reminds me a bit of a tub. This is a carriole, Maker Unknown, used by the Webb family in Westbury, New York. Ooh, too much of a shine. Ooh. I don't know. I mean, two things came to mind immediately. This was something a doctor used for his rounds, or an undertaker. Of course, an undertaker would probably have the whole purse, and not just this. It is a doctor's cutter. I was right. My first guess was right. Built by Frederick Whitney of Ayer, Massachusetts, about 1890. How cool is that? And the doctor could have his bag next to him. Wow, that's a posh bit of carpet down there. Ooh, also fancy. Love those side. There's a sort of headlights right there. Behind the driver. This is a chariot booby hut sleigh by E. Miller and Company of Massachusetts, 1885. The term booby hut is used in New England to describe a sleigh with an enclosed body for 2 to 4 passengers that was coachman driven and pulled by a pair of horses. The term booby was applied to this sleigh for unknown reasons in the mid-19th century. The sleigh is also called a Boston booby, indicating its place of origin. The sleigh has a chariot body, which is suspended on leather thoroughbraces and attached to wooden supports or knees, which are connected to the runners. This type of suspension system offered a very comfortable ride for the passengers in the chariot body. The sleigh's interior is richly finished with crimson satin upholstery adorned with velvet trim and ivory fittings. Worn red monograms of Marie Antoinette Hunt of Boston are painted on the exterior doors of the sleigh. Look at that. How fabulous is that? I didn't say wow. Do I get points for that? Holy cow. And that right there too. With drapes you can pull down so you weren't bothered by the sun or the dismal weather perhaps. Oh, we have We have horses. Look at that thing. I mean, this is a buckboard with groom's seat, built by Joubert and White of Glens Falls, New York. Serial number I-21 or 121, about 1900. And that is the buckboard with room seat near the south porch of Shelburne House, about 1890. Sorry about the shadow of my gear. I was just wondering how I was doing this. Maybe not, maybe it's for luggage. I don't know what that's for. Looks like a seat though. This reminds me of a Thomas Flyabout. I mean, it's not. That's a motorized vehicle. But certainly reminiscent of it, looking at the roof. This is an extension top Surrey, J.R. and J.H. Lockwood, Burlington, Vermont. Agents, about 1900. They were carriage dealers in Burlington to the Wells family, purveyors of patent medicines and dyes. The extension top Surrey, designed to accommodate 4 adults, was a popular vehicle for family and businesses. The body design of this carriage places it in the phaeton family and incorporates the top. The extension top, which gives it its name, can be folded out of the way behind the rear seat. It was later adapted to motor cars, as was the swooping mud guard design noted here. Yes, okay, so this is very reminiscent, as I just said, of the Thomas Flyabout. Certainly the roof here we see, and even those lights on the side, as I recall. Anyhow, I just kind of love when I'm right. Not even kind of, I love when I'm right. After all those fancy ones, this one looks so plain. And it has wheels on it, so this is not a sleigh, it's a pony buckboard, built by J.B. Dubuque of Shelburne, Vermont. You heard me talk about him at the blacksmith shop, 1890. The pony buckboard was made by J.B. Dubuque, a local blacksmith and carriage maker who came to Shelburne from Canada in 1869. He owned a livery stable as well as paint, harness, and carriage shops. His blacksmith shop was moved to the Shelburne Museum grounds in 1956. The vehicle was designed and built in 1890 for the children of Dr. and Mrs. W.S. Webb, who drove it at Shelburne Farms and at Nehasane, the family's estate in the Adirondacks. Its lightweight made it ideal for exploring carriage roads and open land. The vehicle usually was pulled by hackney ponies and driven by the Webb sons, Vanderbilt, William Seward Jr., and J. Watson, future husband of Shelburne Museum founder Electra Havemeyer Webb. And this is J. Watson Webb holds the reins with William Seward Webb Jr. as a passenger in a pony buckboard at Shelburne Farms about 1891. They're long dead. Whew. They are so long dead. Looks like racing vehicles. Well, this one here is a Quebec Calèche. Makers unknown. It's about 1885. And this picture, it's a postcard from 1903, shows a Quebec Calèche in Montreal. And this is the pleasure cart. This one here is somewhat hidden. apologize for that. Let me see if I can get a picture from this other side. Oh, that's better. That's much better. Pleasure cart. And then this is a Kentucky breaking cart by H. Babcock Company, Watertown, New York, 1900. The term breaking cart refers to a vehicle used for training young horses to drive. Breaking is to successfully train a horse for work. Many other types of horse-drawn vehicles were used to break young horses. Shelburne's collections included skeleton brake and rough seat brake, both of which would have been used to train 4 horses to pull a coach. Anyway. This is a sulky. Maker unknown, from Brandon, Vermont, 1870. Oops. So much glare. So much darkness. Take your pick. And this here is it kind of looks like a tram, doesn't it? I don't see a descriptive tag for this one, but it's very interesting regardless, isn't it now? And down to this end we have some more jackets, or coats actually, coats, and I guess those are hames up there, but not furry. Ribbons, all sorts of great stuff. That's a big and tall Norfolk shooting cart built by Tom Patton, Norfolk Carriage Works, Norwich, England, about 1883. Huh. Interesting. Oops. Now I don't need to hit anything. Look at that fabric there. Interesting, eh? It's a slat size shooting phaeton. This is a park gate gig. Maker unknown. It's a 2-wheeled work cart. And this picture here, Seward Webb and friends in a park gate gig at Shelburne Farms, 1890. Ooh, look at that baby. This is General Stark's chaise, maker unknown, made about 1780. The French word chaise, meaning chair, has been used since the 18th century for any 2-wheeled, 2-person vehicle pulled by a single horse. With its folding top, the chaise was one of the most widely used carriages in England and America during the 18th and early 19th centuries. The carriage was owned by General John Stark, the Revolutionary War hero who led the defeat of the British forces at the Battle of Bennington in August of 1777. Tradition holds that in 1784, General Stark met the Marquis de Lafayette in Concord, New Hampshire, in this chaise, and drove him to the Stark home in Dunbarton, New Hampshire. Wow. This is the runabout or buggy, maker unknown, about 1900. Looks comfy, but you know, but if it's just riding on the wheels here, it doesn't look like it has any give for it. Wow, look how fancy-dancy that is. This is a buckboard phaeton built by Shelburne and White of Glens Falls, New York, about 1895. It's truly a work of art. And this is a picture of Dr. William Seward Webb. Dr. Seward Webb gives his son Vanderbilt, age 7, a driving lesson in a pony buckboard at Shelburne Farms. I don't see any. Oh, here we go. It's over here. Maybe. This here is a pony tub cart or miniature village cart by J.B. Dubuque of Shelburne, Vermont, about 1883. And this is a picture of Charles Welch, head coachman for the Webbs, holds the pony as Frederica, age 4, and J. Watson Webb, age 2, sit at the tub cart at Oakledge Estate in Burlington, Vermont, 1886. And I don't know if I can get you a good picture of that. I do apologize for that being in the way. Still in the way. Can't move that over there. Nope, still bad. Still bad. Position is everything. And that, folks, ends our tour of the Horseshoe Barn and Carriage House at the Shelburne Museum. This is Patricia, Traveling for History. Thanks so much for coming with me today. Until I see you again, have a fabulous rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.